get on a flight to space. If it meant that I can hold you closer, girl, I jump out of a plane for you and I rain for you. Like, look here, I came for you. They say being in love is crazy. Well, I guess I'm insane for you. I've been searching, it's so hard to find. Yeah, a girl who's one of a kind. Just being alone just isn't cool. You know it ain't cool. I'll take 1,000 trips around the world just so I could find you, girl. Darling, I've been looking for you. Yeah, I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. Let's get it now. I'm so up, I could be a pilot, be a pilot, be a pilot. I'm so up, I could be a pilot, beat. Let's get it now.
Ouais, choc-les, ouais, choc-les, choc-les, ouais, voilà ce qu'ils me disent, les entends parler et ils maîtrisent, j'arrête que pour rappeler la mise, petit pas sur la piste, et le succès je l'ai pisté, disque la place du premier, je fais monter la côté, sur moi tu mises gros, tu connais déjà l'équipe, ça criera au complot, je prends le double, on est quitté, je fais la magie des chiffres, la somme je la triple, la concurrence la dribble, et le stade est en délire, ça fait choquer, j'arrive pour tous les choquer, toute la foule elle est choquée, j'espère que t'es accroché, gauche, droite, esquive rageux, coach m'a rajouté du temps de jeu, dans l'action, ouais je me sens en feu, je suis on fire, je fais la différence au compteur, money time, ça shoot sur le buzzer, switch, je suis on fire, choqué, j'arrive pour tous les choquer, toute la foule elle est choquée, j'espère que t'es accroché, choqué, j'arrive pour tous les choquer, toute la foule elle est choquée, j'espère que t'es accroché.
Welcome to the XXL Nutrition HQ. XXL Nutrition is the most popular online supplement brand in Europe. Our proteins, pre-workouts, dietary supplements, and of course our sportswear is developed with the greatest possible care. We are known for providing the highest quality products and the best service. Daily, we are working with a motivated team on new developments, promotions, and quality control to serve our customers in the best possible way. XXL Nutrition is an established name in the B2B and B2C market. Therefore, we can also be found in many gyms, supplement stores, and supermarkets. Offering the highest possible quality is the foundation of our brand. Only the best ingredients and materials are used for our products. Everyone at our company has passion for health and fitness. That's why we want to provide our customers, and of course ourselves, with the best products. We prepare all orders in our own warehouse, which has the capacity to process more than 10,000 orders daily. Thank you for supporting XXL Nutrition. We are XXL, the most popular brand in sports nutrition.
Well, folks, welcome back to the Voltage League Season 4 Stage 3. Another fresh broadcast for the entire event is going to be Bird on Desk with me. Jolly inside is going to be my friend Reappearance. Reappearance, welcome to another Playday broadcast. How excited are you? Because this is going to be the last group stage games.
Well, this is going to settle it. This is going to decide it. We've got one more Playday. We've got 2 more matches to go today. And that is ultimately going to determine what the leaderboard is going to be like going into the playoffs. So exciting times indeed.
Well, yes, folks, today we have another good set of games where we're going to see 2 fine teams, battling out each other. But let's take a look on how our standings are going to look like. Because on the last Playday, we did have a couple of matches where we saw another, good set of teams fighting off till the end. Now on the entire standings, which is going to come up on our broadcasting anytime now. But let me tell you instead, as alongside ITB Academy is still standing at the top of the entire standings with 12 points. 14 played games, 12, which all of them combined to that they have won 12 of them, and they have a score difference of what round score difference of what 87 to 40, with a total combined points of 36 on the standings. On the second place, we do have Wild Academy. Now it's always going to be a battle indeed, even in I feel like in the playoffs after this entire group stage ends, after we go on to the playoffs, I feel like it's always going to be a battle between these two fighting teams. Roster Academy of two tier one Ox, ITB Academy going up against Wild Academy to stay at the top of a food chain. On the third place, we have Bon Voyage with 26 points, and with Divoli standing at the fourth place with 18 points.
Yeah, all right. And with that, we've got Honved in last place. And since they forfeited their last game today against ITBA, that does mean they are out. They have no more chances of recovering. And that means Diavoli do have the chance to go through. So the games ultimately today are going to be about placement within the playoffs. So it's just going to be about seeding. But I think the most important thing that we're looking at today is going to be Bon Voyage trying to chase Wild Academy, because Bon Voyage is 3 points behind Wild Acad. They have fairly similar round difference, plus 27 to plus 23. So it's very doable and very feasible that Bon Voyage could beat their opponents today, Besiktas, and get themselves into second place. And then everything hinges on the Wild game, which is the one that follows it immediately, which is going to be NXT versus Wild. And of course, NXT, they do have a chance to set themselves apart from Diavoli and Besiktas as well. So they do have something to play for as well. So these games aren't exactly meaningless, but we have decided already who is eliminated, which means that this is mostly about who gets the bye round. Is it going to be Wild? Is it going to be Bon Voyage? And that's what the evening's going to be about.
Yeah, it's always. I feel like from the last couple of play days, like from the last couple of days, it's always about who's gonna get at that middle, who's gonna be the team to be at the top of the middle section of the entire standings. Who's gonna be at the third place, who's gonna fight it off to at least take out Wild Academy, because last time we did saw Wild Academy was still at the first play, but ITB won their last matchup against Wild Academy, and then they got the chance to redeem themselves for the top. And also, it's been the case for Besiktas and NXT as for themselves, because NXT won their matchup against Lenovo Legion Honor with a 7-4 scoreline on the last play day. They definitely lost their last matchup against Bon Voyage, which happened on the 11th play day which happened on the map of Night Haven Live with a scoreline of 7-8, which was a very close one indeed. So yes, it's maybe I feel like for the first match for today, which is going to be between the side of Bon Voyage and Besiktas, I feel like it's going to be a close one, but it's all up to the teams how they're going to perform inside the server.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, hopefully we should be able to get a look at the bands, the map bands.
Map bands, yeah.
We do have a chance.
Yeah, here we go.
All right. Consulate it is. Bit of map variety coming out. I don't know if I've seen Besiktas on Consulate yet. I will be honest. I think maybe once, but especially in the Southbridge qualifier, I was following a different team, so I don't know if they would have brought it out there, but interesting to see them leave that open this time around. So we'll have a look at how they play there.
I'm not really sure about the stats, which I'm going to say, but Consulate has definitely been one of the least maps to be played and Voltage League, season 4. It has to be one of the least, bottom 3 maps that has been picked up to, decided by the teams to be played on. There you go. Bon Voyage worst map is going to be on the side of is going to be Consulate, and their best map is Night Haven Labs. They have a total winner of 69%. But as for now, let's take a look at the player lineup. It's going to see we do see Haby, Swiss Castelli, Elder Count, captained by Venoms and by Beam. We're also going to see who's going to be the final 5 player to be part of. But Bon Voyage's worst map being Consulate, things can get pretty interesting and pretty challenging for the side of Bon Voyage.
All right. Well, speaking of Consulate, I've got some stats to back this up. I'm not entirely sure these are fully updated yet, but they are at least from a previous playday. And I can tell you, Consulate does get a decent bit of play inside of the group stage. It has happened 3 times, which is the same amount as Bank and Skyscraper. And speaking of the least played maps, apparently Border has not been favored by any of the teams. Border's been played once in the groups. It's been played a few more times in Swiss stage, but only once in the groups.
Yeah.
And Lair has not been played at all yet. So Consulate is more of a middle of the pack team or a map rather.
Okay. Yeah, that's and quite an interesting stat. But yeah, for now, when we talk about a team, when we talk about the Besiktas esports, their best map is going to be Porter, which again, like I told, it's one of the least map played in the entire group stages, and the worst map is going to be Cafe des Risky. I guess in previous play days for Team Besiktas, we do saw them one of the map in one of the maps that in one of the matches that they played on Cafe, and they won that one too. But for the side of Bon Voyage, we do see Venoms, Swiss, BMS, Steely, Heavy in the starting five right now. Well, the final five right now who's going to play in this matchup against Besiktas. But for the side of Besiktas, it's going to be Boldov, Salim Karim, Kaiser, Gataro, and of course, Sox.
All right. And with that, we should be able to get the staff predictions up as well to go and take a look what everybody voted for. And it looks like we have an even split on the first match, 50-50. So I've gone with Besiktas, but it seems, Bullet, you have decided to go with Bon Voyage.
Yeah, Bon has have that momentum going on. They have won last three games against I would say the better half in the entire Voltage League this particular group stage. They have won against Savoli with a 7-2 score line. They won against Wild Academy with an 8-7 score line on Clubhouse. So defeating Wild Academy is a huge, I would say, W coming on their side because Wild Academy has been the team, one of the top performing teams in the entire group stages. So that's why I have picked up on where they are on like a winning streak right now. They've also won against the side of NXT in the last play day. So that is the reason why I have picked up Bondias. For the side of Besiktas, yes, like I said previously, this can be a very close game. But for the side of Besiktas, like we saw, for the side of Besiktas, it's one of their worst map that we saw. That this particular map is one of their worst map that they have played in the entire Voltage League. So it can be a little bit challenging, I feel, for the side of Besiktas.
Yeah, all right. We'll go and have a look at when they actually do get into the game. But in the meantime, I guess we've got another second to go and talk about the lineups or about the teams just in general. So I predicted Besiktas. This is kind of a trend here. In Voltage, I'm rooting for the guys. I'm rooting for Besiktas to show me improvement. They don't really have that much to play for other than putting the buffer between themselves and NXT to keep their spot. But once again, ultimately going into the playoffs, this is just going to determine seeding. They will go into the quarterfinals regardless of performance today, regardless of score. So picking Bon Voyage is more of a safer bet because they do actually have a chance to play for something here, and they need a clean victory in order to do it. So Besiktas is probably taking this one very relaxed, which
Mhm.
at the same time does mean that Besiktas is going to play without any pressure. And sometimes that can make you play better than when you're actually playing for something.
Yeah, definitely. When you don't have that, pressure rolling on that you are not going to qualify for the next stage or you're not going to qualify for the entire playoff, things can be a little harsh on you when you don't have that. Sometimes players too don't have that, mental capacity to play on that kind of a situation like that. But I feel like, both of the teams have that experience, playing so many community-based tournaments like Voltage League all over the place, all of the, tournaments happening in the CG ecosystem for these particular teams. So I feel like they have a fair bit of experience having this, playing in this kind of environment. But all I'm up for is like a, good old Siege Classic map where I personally feel like both the teams should actually able to, just push out each other because on the last play day things were pretty even Steven and kind of one-sided for the teams who won. We did saw a very clean scoreline of 7-2, 7-3, 7-4 on the last play day because I was there casting the entire thing. So I'm expecting classic old Siege where we see 3 rounds going in for the side of Besiktas, then the next 3 rounds going in for the side of Bon Voyage. Then we see Besiktas trying to just cripple off Divoli's defense. So I just want to see some good old Siege matchup between these two fine teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes for game one as much as it goes for game two, NXT versus Wild, which we've got later on this evening. I'm looking forward to both, and I hope that both of them are close. Not even just because of the team specifically, but because it's the last play day. But this is the
Yeah.
last day of groups. This is the last time we're going to see these teams play in groups. After that, they're off into a play day, a playoff format, which means certain elimination and BO3 format. So this is the last time where they get to flex out just one single map and they get a
Yeah.
chance to prove themselves and just show off if they want to. So just show us something fun and make it a close competition.
Yeah, definitely. We are just waiting in for a few things, folks. We'll be getting confirmation for our production backend any time. Now we're gonna jump in directly to the game any time now. But when we talk about a map like Consulate, I feel like with the recent changes being done, I'm not really sure if that was recent, but recently because Consulate was given a very good overall and rework getting done. In for the entire map pool. I still feel like there is a lot of these approach which hasn't been explored in this kind of skill caliber level, that sometimes around these all of teams are kind of like clueless, because again the shield meta is still live. Players prefer to play shield. Players preferred sometimes to ban both the shields, which hasn't been very lively case in a lot of the competitive games. So I feel like on a map like Consulate, where you have to sometimes, when you talk about, especially for the basement objective, when you have to take the entire vertical control for the entire section just above the floor, you have to make sure that nobody's flanking around you. You have to make sure there's somebody watching your back. Things can be a little bit tough for the attacking side, but it's kind of like the vice versa setup for the second floor objective, where you have so many entry lines open for the attacking team. You can take the entry lines from the break hallway. You can take the entry lines from top spiral. You can just go around yellow stairs to take the entry all towards the secretary room. So I feel like it's a decent balanced map. But let's also talk about our operator bans coming in. We do see Ying and Monty getting banned from Bonvias and Besiktas respectively.
Yeah, Bart, say the line. Monty ban. Yay. It is just the reality of Seed right now. Basically every single
Yeah.
time you're just gonna see Monty get taken out at that, or you're gonna see him basically every round. There's one or the other, and this time around it is Bon Voyage that get rid of the Monty. We have Ying and Valkyrie removed from the side of Besiktas. That's nothing out of the ordinary. It's a big map. Getting rid of Valkyrie means you don't have to rely on IQ as much. The C4s on this map can be very, very treacherous for the attack. So getting rid of the information that can deploy some of those charges from down below that can blow you sky high is quite a decent ban. Ying, of course, execute utility. She has a lot of util in pocket. She basically has better utility than Striker, and that's saying a lot because the man has nothing but like grenades if you want to. And then the last ban getting taken out. Tuberau, this is going to help dealing with walls, dealing with hatches. It means you can take your time clearing the map just that tiny little bit more before you get onto the main walls and the objective. And it means you don't have to worry about any sort of time delay. All you have to do is clear the electricity, make sure you have control of the other side of the wall, no matter how, if it's vertical or if it's a Twitch drone, anything works. And then you can open it.
I have a short, little quick question. I know the shield meta is the thing right now, dear parents. But is it the shotgun meta right now? We do see 3 shotties. That is going to be Warren picking up shotgun. We do have Mute, and all of them are the same exact gun which SAS holds, with the SAS CTU holds for smoke and Mute, and the same gun goes for Warden as well. So kind of interesting because they have picked up the second floor side, where you don't usually see a lot of these players picking up shotgun, where you don't have a lot of these scenarios, a lot of these close quarter combats happening in, except the fight and the gunfight happening in on towards the side of CEO and the CEO hall when Concentrate hall, or that particular west side area of the map. But quite unusual to see everybody pick like 3 of the players going in for shotgun.
Yeah, they just really want to make sure that they can make rotations. I would have taken you up on the idea of a shotgun meta if we had seen Teaser bring it out on the Demos as well, because that's certainly something you can do, because that revolver hits really hard. You can make it work. But speaking of hitting hard, Besiktas have entered the building. They've gotten their first kill. Swiss is dead. That means no more Kiba barriers. And there's some feet being tagged up as Heavy goes down to very low HP, dangerously low HP. He almost gets himself killed from that skylight, and that will force him back. So within a minute, Besiktas have taken a decent amount of control. They've gotten a player dead to rights on the side of Bon Voyage. And Salim is down below as well, waiting for an opportunity to maybe flank somebody. If he can find the right timing here, he might catch BMS out while he's not expecting it.
Now we also see the side of none other than KB getting a little bit of info that's going to be the side of Rumi. We do see some shots being dealt upon, but it's also the side of Demas to already get and control of the top spiral. He can definitely make a pressure on the entire defense because the defense has already been a little bit, defense already been given more than 40-30% of the map control towards the side of attackers. That's going to be Demos coming in place. Here's the thing out the side of BMS. Now it's going to be a very tricky 3-5 situation in the favor of Besiktas. But for another flash come in, the entry gets taken in. Gutaro takes on the side of Heavy. The plant is already going down. A little bit hard, but that's going to be only Smoke Venoms left out. Venoms left out playing as Smoke. The first kill definitely came in with SMG11 being on soap point. But as a manpower advantage is not in favoring you, everybody just gonna flush you out.
All right, so far this is classic Besiktas. The problem is classic Besiktas usually means you have an amazing first attacking round, and then after that you start playing quite shaky. Besiktas is very explosive. They know how to start off a game. I don't think they have problems with momentum in a BO1, but we'll have to see how these next few rounds pan out, because at the moment this is just business as usual for them. But at the same time, credit where credit's due, praise where praise is due. They've done a great job entering the building. They did it fairly quickly, overwhelmed the defense entirely, got their execute through, and didn't even need to hold the post plan because, well, they found everyone on time. And with that, Besiktas, maybe the pressureless Besiktas have a chance to outperform themselves here. And getting a win against Bon Voyage on the last play day before going into the playoffs is certainly something that you wouldn't scoff at. It's I would definitely take that as a momentum boost going into the playoffs format, going into eliminations. Because once again, this match can be used as warm-up. This match can be used as just practice. Make sure you get your game day reps in and you're able to perform when it really matters, not just in scrims, but in games where you have opponents playing against you who are actually playing for something. And Bon Voyage does want to try and cop that second spot. They do want to get that buy round if they can against Wild. It depends on other factors. It's not entirely in their hands, but what is in their hands is getting those 3 points to get them to that line. And so Besiktas have the opportunity to just play against an opponent that really wants to play for something. And just the pressure-free environment might be benefiting them a lot here.
Let's see. Things can get pretty wild now. As this time around, Besiktas taking more time than they did to make an entry inside the map from what we saw in the first round. Now we do see Bon Voyage not being so easy on the defense, but from what we saw, then the first kill came off pretty early for the side of to take the entry for the side of Besiktas. We do also have the Pulse playing in the basement. All of the players are already on the second floor. Division has been distributed. The players have been distributed, widely distributed themselves between secretary and reception. But Azami taking care of the spiral section. We also have Mute. Have to be a little bit careful. But Heavy! Ooh, with that SMG11 takes the guy who was picking on the skylight.
That's a nice double swing. So I believe it was Hibby and Swiss who stacked up together to just swing the guy on Skylight together. I thought, oh no, Swiss, you died early last round. Why are you swinging Skylight? You're just gonna get yourself killed again. But no, he had a plan. He wanted to swing together with Hibby, and Hibby finds the opportunity, finds the head of the player through the Skylight. Even with an SMG11 and a 1x, you don't need magnification as long as you can hit your shots. However, Shoxel does eventually respond and find Hibby, which does mean that now Besiktas should be able to push themselves forward, and Gutter is already inside of the site. The problem is he's now gotten himself injured. I think that might have been a C4 thrown at him, and Steely will finish off what was left of that Capitao player, which means Bon Voyage, for now, are able to hold on to the site, but they're playing rather entrenched. They're playing rather deep. It's Steely that's the one that's pushed up, but Bodov finding Swiss doesn't really make this any better, as Steely now finds himself on an island with the other two Bon Voyage players pretty far behind, and Bodov will find Steely, so that means the plant will be able to go down, and if Besiktas can hold this into the post plant, they have a good opportunity to close out the second round and make sure that they win top floor once again. BMS on the retake finds Bodov, but he's got a few more to find. There's two players left alive, Selim and Shoxel. Two decent players that you maybe don't want to go up against in a 2v2. And this angle is nasty. How do you win against this? Maybe if you can cut him off with the smoke, but no, I guess not. But instead, actually, he's able to go for the cross, and BMS is there for the cover. Bon Voyage is able to completely retake this. Never mind, this Besiktas. They can't hold it.
Really smart play coming off with that smoker. Really smart play coming off with the triple kill from the side of BMS, but quite loosened out and loosened in for the side of Besiktas. You had the control. You already planted out the diffuser. We did saw two of the players backing out, going all towards the break room to make that angle when the player was taking care of it. If I am not wrong, the first kill, the second last kill, which was taken from the side of Bon Voyage, I don't remember what exactly the operator was, but it was a little bit of overpicking done towards the Shoda machine in the end, which was, I feel, was completely unnecessary to do in a post-plant situation like that.
Yeah, all right. So we got ourselves into round 3 and now a different bomb site for Bon Voyage as they decide to get themselves over onto piano instead. It'll be interesting to see how they hold this. No Mira in play, which means they don't have access to those long sidelines that you would usually play with on both top floor and potentially inside of piano, or maybe elsewhere. There's a few more places you could put those Mira windows, but evidently Bon Voyage don't really seem to be too concerned about bringing that out. Instead, they're once again sticking their Asami. They've got a bit of a cheeky spawn peek coming out, and BMS hits that shot. Beautiful connection onto Theezer, and that is the flank watch gone immediately. No gridlock this round for Besiktas.
Yep. In the first round, we did saw Besiktas taking out someone very early for the side of Bon Voyage. Second round, Besiktas don't take that early control, but it's Bon Voyage to take that first swing off kill. And now it's back and forth again happening from these both teams. It's Bon Voyage to finally get some really heavy utility out, because gridlock, when you have the middle floor where the objective has been selected, and things can be a little bit tough to take that in trial, sideway control, try to take 10 entry on the front door itself. You need those track stingers to just block all possible aggressive approach coming off from these defenders, and that has been taken out, which I feel it's going to be a little bit more easy for the side of Bon Voyage to just shut down the side of Besiktas. But I might not get myself ahead. They still have Blitz, they still have Capita, they still have Brava, because answer it back. Brava is going to be really important to disable those Surya gates coming off from Rooney, those new jammers. Blitz comes up with a rush, and BMX is going to take him out really smooth. Okay. Oh, back and forth. Double. Besiktas left out. Oh.
What a huge back and forth there. So BMS does finally get himself taken out after he finds 2 kills in the round. He will ultimately be punished. I don't know how he gets that kill on the Blitz while he's just completely flashed. And on top of that, just Besiktas try to take top floor. They encounter aggression. They immediately try to double down, and Bon Voyage is there to just completely block that aggression. So we essentially just watched a strategic parry, as close as it's going to get to it inside of Siege. And that's what Bon Voyage did. They were set up to completely counter the players of Besiktas, overcommitting, stepping in, and shutting out the round. That saves us some time. It means that nobody of Besiktas sits outside alone and has an opportunity to talk. We just move straight into the next round as Bon Voyage take the lead, and now we'll go to a third bomb site to get themselves down to basement and see a bit of a different lineup. This time around, the Mira is being brought out. We do see a Goyo, and most importantly, Swiss has switched over from the Asami to a Boss G Vigil.
Well, we have seen Venoms playing Boss G quite often from the roster of Bon Voyage. Not really sure why Swiss has taken a Boss G, but hey, Boss G is Boss G. If you land even a body shot, good body shot, the opponent will take a heavy damage. But if you get a headshot, player is gone and out. I'm not really sure. Was Boss G not a buff recently for the entirety of year 9 patch? Not really sure, but It was
Oh no,
definitely,
they have not done anything to the gun. It's gotten
but
popular on its own.
yeah, but there were some changes being done to Boss C back in year 8, if I'm able to recall correctly. Not in year 9, but there were some changes being done. But yeah, that's the discussion for another day now, folks. But for now, of course, there are going to be some changes in the lineup for the side of Besiktas as well. We do see Jackal alongside Dukebi, alongside Deathmark. A lot of these information can be traded out to take those roamers out from the second floor. We do see more than one player on the second floor. We do see the entry being taken away. Things can be a little bit risky. SMG comes in, but no! Boldov's gonna be the savior. No way Jackal could have taken that SMG guy out. Heavy on the other hand takes out the side of Gutro. Fenrir has been targeted by Demers by the uses of Deathmark. We already see the side of Venoms coming off to take out the side of Tiza as he goes down. And that's going to be Fenrir get assisted by his teammate over there.
Right, that death mark not really working out as Caesar finds himself out of the round. And BMS has had the opportunity to fall back, so Bon Voyage, they might have lost top floor control, but they've done it in a 2-for-1 trade. Yes, Hebi has taken a decent bit of damage, but he's still alive. And that does leave them in a favorable position to try and hold basement here, as they still haven't given up first floor as well. There's still Hebi running around close to Yellow Stairs, and that will have to be cleared by Besiktas as well, and they've already used up 2 minutes. They've got one more phone call to work with to try and take some more space, but at the moment they're just waiting to get themselves into positions, and Steely, by the skin of his teeth, is able to win that fight against Silim. And the fire rate of the Vector this time around trumps the fire rate of the SMG-12, and a goo mine just thrown directly into the face of Shoxel. That is unfortunate. As now both the remaining Besiktas players find themselves here toward the bottom, and Bon Voyage seem more than ready for this. They are definitely expecting this. They know that Besiktas is here, they know that they are desperate looking for an opportunity, and they just completely shut them down. Bon Voyage build their lead, it's 3-1, and they do now, after a slow start, once again, this is the Besiktas classic, they start off with a really great attack round, where you're like, I have no notes, this was great, like, just solid performance. You won the opening fight, and from there you steamrolled. And then we move into this. Bon Voyage adapt. Besiktas struggled to find the opening pick all of a sudden, and Bon Voyage find themselves in a heavy lead. So Besiktas have to get this back. They have to find an opportunity for opening picks. They have to make sure they don't do silly mistakes like getting spawn peeked by BMS. And from there, we can see how many rounds they can salvage before they themselves go into the defensive half, because once again, I'm not yet worried about Besiktas too much. Bon Voyage is currently on the favorite side of this map.
Yeah, like you said, Besiktas have the habit of definitely, starting off the entire, match on a really good note, but kind of losing out a little bit when the, the opponent teams adapt to the entire attacking strategies coming from Besiktas. But I also feel like Besiktas, for this particular game, they're not coming off any early plans or thoughts that how they wanna just approach the entire thing right in front of them, especially with some of those early kills after the second round coming into the fate of Bon Voyage. Every now and then we have seen someone from the Bon Voyage taking out one of the players very early for the entire round start. So I feel like, yes, the intel gathering needs to be done pretty nicely from the side of Besiktas to just figure out where the exactly rumors are at, or where you want to just take the gunfight or not, commit to a gunfight or not. And also it's been the case in, I feel very slightly on how they are picking up their operators on a map like this.
Yeah, it may have just something to do with that. As once again, the Dokkaebi is coming out, the Deimos is coming out there, bringing plenty of roam hunting. The problem is, where are these roamers, and is Besiktas able to box in any of them? Because for now, I feel like they're just allowed to move around a bunch, and since this is an admin take, this doesn't really tell me that Besiktas wants to go for a lot of space elsewhere. Caesar is on the roof as well. Most of these roamers are out and about. There's one below, and everybody else is just holding horizontally onto the entirety of top floor, so how much roam hunting can you really do? And so bringing this lineup, I don't know if it's the best idea. They do have decent utility to contribute as well. Obviously, they don't just bring their primary gadget, but you're not picking a Dokkaebi for flashbangs. You're not picking a Dokkaebi just for flashbangs and the gun. There are other reasons. And you can tell by the first phone call coming in, one of them gets canceled out, and it's the most important one. BMS down below won't be called out as he does have a mute jammer to work with. And now that first phone call has rang out, Guturo gets himself into a bit of a forward position, is able to fire off Heavy. That will force him back. And they should be able to take control of Connector in the meantime off of this, as the second firebolt comes out as well. Clears another close position. And now Steely is ready with a C4. The problem is there's a player that's already snuck by that. Are they aware of that? If he finds the first. Oh, doesn't find the connection inside of side. Guturo! He gets himself punished. He doesn't find the head of Venoms, and on the reswings, Venom is good for it. These are shocked, so they both connect Venoms with another trade onto Bodolf. It's a big mess, but Besiktas is able to at least find a few more, but no, Venoms, he's on for a triple. Won't be anymore, as Theser does take him down, but BMS down below has so much information to work with. Heavy, locked out of the site, does also have the potential to play around his teammate, and Theser is so low. If he goes for this diffuser, he's going to get spotted out by BMS. He doesn't really have anywhere safe to plant. And with 25 seconds, the time pressure is going to start sinking in. And these two Bon Voyage players can just stack up and win the round off of each other.
Good call to track the side of Solis, because you know for a fact that Solis will be playing down vertical as he goes on for the plant. Last couple of seconds left, leaves the plant out, trying to go in for the gunfight. Not really gonna be the case, folks. Few of the shots just definitely missed from the side of BM, but in the end it's gonna be a headshot right off till the end. But a huge mess coming in from the side of Besiktas. The guy was almost in, even I feel like he was just unaware. He was just definitely unaware of the fact that there was somebody playing in on catering, because if he would have been aware of the fact that there's somebody, warden playing at the catering side, he would have definitely gone for that firebolt. With that, small area over there to just let the firebolts inside the catering, and then challenge the side of mute for a gunfight to take him out. Because if Capita would have been able to take the entire control of meeting room, at least could have gone taken one guy out, there could have been a completely different round result for the side of Besiktas, I feel.
Well, but what's done is done, and they didn't manage to capitalize on that opportunity, so Guturo gets himself into a decent position, but sometimes it doesn't work out for you. And Venoms did hit a very beautiful shot. He found him on the swing. He doesn't immediately get his head taken off, so he has a chance to re-engage. And of course, now that he knows where Guturo is, he can connect the shot off of his swing. He's the one that's playing closer around the cover, so he can dodge in and out of it, weave back and forth. And that does leave Bon Voyage now in a very favorable situation as they get themselves onto the last round of this half, the last round of Bon Voyage's defense. And they were looking to just continue doing their rotation. They're back onto piano, and I don't really see much different out of the side of Besiktas either, and this has me a little worried in terms of adaptation. They're bringing the Brava again to hack util. That is quite useful, but they're also bringing the Blitz again. They're bringing the Gridlock again. This time around, they're hoping not to use that, or not to lose that Gridlock as early as they did last time. And of course, that Blitz, hopefully they can make it work on top floor, but Bon Voyage should be expecting this by that point.
We do see them trying to approach from the piano, the Tiller hallway. We also see somebody probably coming from piano. No, that's not going to be the case. They're trying to approach from the side of Trailers, trying to take the entire control of Expo, and then trying to maybe take in the piano room. But right now,
oh boy,
as the Capita bolts come in, and Blizz is already going in for the plants. Venom takes out Tezer, and Venom takes a double. Salim Karim finally gets the trade-off done. Double kill for the side of Legion now. The plant has been stopped, diffuser has been dropped, and all of the players up on right at the second floor from the side of Pond, where they have a complete vision of where exactly are now placed on, where exactly the attackers are coming from.
They tried to go in for a fast plant, but they're punished by one little flank from Venoms that's not covered. I don't know where the disconnect is, allowing that gap to just have the player push onto the planter, but it completely shuts out the round. It was a good attempt for Besiktas, but they don't have all their puzzle pieces in the right places before going for it. Maybe a little too premature. They thought they'd had an opportunity, but Bon Voyage does them one better. And so that's a 5-1 split. Very dominant half for the defensive side on Consulate. And now that the halves switch, Bon Voyage only need to find 2 more. And once again, Bon Voyage have something to play for. Besiktas should have absolutely no pressure other than the pressure they put on themselves because they really aren't playing for much. So I'm just wondering what in the world is going wrong here. Could it be the map pick? Is it just Besiktas not performing on the day once again? Because this is something I have to keep pointing out. Selim is a power player for this team, and if Selim doesn't perform, if he doesn't find multi-kills, then usually Besiktas doesn't ever find into their own. Because first Selim gets multi-kills, and then everybody else starts getting multi-kills. That is how it works on Besiktas. So until we hit that point, we're kind of at a glass ceiling. And if Selim doesn't perform, then usually they have a pretty rough go of it, and you can see it reflected here. Selim's 2 and 5. They've only won a single round, and that was the very first one. Since then, it's been all Bon Voyage all day. And once again, all they have to do now is 1 more for match point, 2 more to win out this match, and potentially, at the very least, leapfrog Wild for a little bit. Because Wild do play later today, they do have a chance to jump Bon Voyage again by simply getting 1 single point. All they need is to force overtime. They need 6 rounds. They don't even need 7. Wild needs 6 rounds to secure their spot, and Bon Voyage need to pray that that doesn't happen while themselves winning in regulation. So a lot to work for Bon Voyage, but at the moment they're absolutely on pace to make the miracle work here on this last play day.
I like you say, right. This is definitely that game where Besiktas, not badly, but should definitely get the win. You know, being the top 4. But for the side of Bon Voyage, they're already in. But also that one thing that I feel that I completely observe for a second that Besiktas are just not able to get that coordination right. We do see someone going in for the plant, but we don't see the second and the third guy trying to cover him in. But for this particular round, we do see Warden already going out. The Yin Kanalas are being deployed in for the time being. And we do see everybody taking the entry towards the visa room. But Boldov connects the C4, and the Ash is going to go down. Kevin just got saved though. You see the Chaos plane going the way, making a little bit of angles on 2 of the players diffusers playing around the room. And both of them are going to go back out on towards the spider.
Alright, well, I kind of like this idea from Bodov to be bringing out the pulse and playing on these hard walls, because you can chuck a C4 over most of them, and as you saw to great effect, he was able to take down Swiss with one of those throws, as he could see him through the wall with that heartbeat scanner. The thing is, that spot is very risky to play because of specifically that window and break room. So I'm very surprised he even managed to make it out alive. That was a very risky strat, and now we did see a Shoxel in a bit of a literal firefight as Venoms was torching him while he had his Shumicha in hand. So he won't be able to come out quite as well as his opponent. But in the meantime, we're effectively in a 2v2, 1v1, as it's only down to Selim, who's finally started finding some kills, and Steely, who's in the middle of the site. But I don't think he has the diffuser right now. It's off to the side somewhere. He does have a chance to maybe recover BMS if he can get to him, but no, actually, Selim just exposes himself, and Bon Voyage win the round once again. It comes down to such close margins, but Bon Voyage, hold on.
Hold on, I don't think so. They're already on match point, and they will definitely look to shut this down with a 7-1 scoreline. And statistics you say it, my friend. The Sixers are definitely finding it way too hard to just get a grip on even like for the entire post-plant situation scenario when they were attacking it. Now with Bon Voyage attacking it, it's just way too hard to even win those close quarter and back-to-back trade games, right? When the entire situation goes on, like, when Salim Curry remains alive, yes, they do have a little bit of ray of that hope coming in that they can finally or somehow get their round victory in. But if Salim Curry goes out very early, it's the entire team falling like a deck of cards, one by one. Like you said, like I said, folks, and now you see on your screen right now, Bon Voyage are on match point for this matchup against the side of Besiktas, where Besiktas are in the need of a really desperate victory. But a comeback from a scenario like this, a fight back standoff from a scenario like this is something really hard, but not very impossible for the side of Besiktas. I would love to see Besiktas winning, good old round, doing some good old siege, trying to win back-to-back rounds in their favor. At least try to make it look like 7-4 before this goes on to the favor of Bon Voyage. But I also have a confidence that Besiktas can at least try to make it to 6-6, getting into the overtime rounds. But that is going to be a very, very long way.
Yeah, just gotta take it one round at a time now, Bullet. With
Yeah.
there's so many rounds to go through before Besiktas have a chance to put this into overtime that at the moment the chances are looking very, very slim. But there's always a shot. You gotta take it round by round. It is never over until it is really over. Even in unfavorable situations, and Shuxel's gonna at least try and start this comeback off by just kickstarts it by getting rid of Swiss. That is the IQ gone. That does mean that the counter to Pulse has kind of been relinquished, and potentially the Kite and Mute as well. But I think mainly for the Pulse, this is going to be nice because he doesn't have to worry about potentially getting himself floor banged by a pistol anywhere, as the IQ does outrange the heartbeat sensor. She can see the pulse for a longer range than the pulse can see her. So getting rid of that, very good. No immediate trade to come in either. So a minute and 20 off the clock for Bon Voyage as they now get themselves into top floor. They haven't really been able to find any real contacts with Besiktas. They're able to just play keep away for the moment. Oh, he's prepping this for a C4. He's going to try and throw this through the floor.
But I feel like basic, Bonus is more of it of the fact that there is a pulse just right below you. You have to be really, really careful about just trying to being stagnant for on the same angle for more than a couple of seconds. You have to keep moving around, even though we do see Hibana all the way to lounge, and that's going to be Venoms on the top fragger guy for the side of Bon Voyage for now, 11-4. Teaser takes the side of BMS out. First shot connects. Venom takes the entry now. Heavy on the other end, making the situation 3v3. Still very close for the side of Besiktas. Things can go anywhere around as Pulse remains alive. We don't see anyone though probably trying to take and hunt down the side of Pulse. But we do see two of the players playing in a basement. Both of the C4s right now in the basement. So they have to be very specific on how they want to take the side control. They have to be very careful how they want to go in for the plant. Only 25 seconds remain.
Alright, timer's ticking lower. Salim has plenty of information though. He wasn't able to spot the player that walked right past on first floor. Gutter is able to find Hibby. That does leave it only down to Venoms, who's 12-4. He's got plenty of kills, so he's gonna try and find another. He finds Salim, he finds Scottero. It's a triple kill for Venom in the round. Now the plant is gonna come down from Steely. It's just Venom to cover. Teaser drops himself down the hatch, but it is expected. Is he able to find the planter? No, not in time. Venoms makes it a 4K, and Bon Voyage just completely shut Besiktas out of this game. It is a 7-1, a clean sweep, and they have an opportunity to maybe even jump wild. Depending on how this next game goes, we could see Bon Voyage get the bye round and go straight to semifinals off of this game.
Damn, Venoms, what did you had for your lunch? If I am able to correctly predict the times, what did you had for your lunch? But boy, it's at 14-4, if I am able to recall correctly. Boy, oh boy, just 4 knocks, and you were able to take down more than half of more than a double of the entire roster up on your front. It was a really, really wild situation. Definitely, I was definitely in the favor of Besiktas trying to get both of the C4s right, just trying to win that entire thing, because both the players remaining, Venoms and Steamy, both were looking like they want to go in for the plant on the above floor. Now this site is completely divided into the upper floor stage, and then you have the basement. So things were a little bit complicated, but in the end, it's going to be Venoms to take everybody out with that 4K coming off with that from that individual. A really, really, the kind of play where you need someone from your team to step up at the right time and just shut this down. Venom was the guy for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Bon Voyage came to play today, and Besiktas stopped playing after round 1. And as unfortunate as that is, yeah, it was a very good attack, and then there was nothing to follow it. So with that, it is Besiktas taking another loss. They will stay on 18 points once again. They are confirmed for the playoffs already. They're going to go into the quarterfinals. They didn't really have a chance to catch anyone here, so It was a no pressure game. However, it's still disappointing to go and lose 7-1 to a team like Bon Voyage. I feel like you can do better, but Bon Voyage is going to be happy with that performance. So the winners definitely congrats on that performance, because you put yourself in a prime position to beat Wild out on round diff. If Wild lose this game against NXT, it's going to be a bit like Bon Voyage is just going to be the biggest NXT fan of the evening, I think, because if
Yeah.
NXT can win this, if they can get a regulation victory over Wild, they have a chance of potentially dislodging them and gatekeeping them away. So NXT is going to be the gatekeeper today, and that's going to be our second game. So don't go anywhere. We've got one more BO1 coming up. It's going to be the final game of the stage, the final game of the group before we head into the all important playoff games. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back after this short break.
I must have went blind tonight, cause I swear that you out of sight. Man, I'm so up, I could be a pilot, and I just hope trying to catch a flight. So let me get the digits. I call right now if you with it. I seen 1,000 pretty girls in this room. $1 and I've been looking for you. I've been searching, it's so hard to find a girl who's one of a kind. 'Cause being alone just isn't cool. I'll take 1,000 trips around the world just so I could find you, girl. 'Cause darling, I've been looking for you. Yeah, I'm looking for you. For you. I'm looking for you. For you. Let's get it now. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Be a pilot. We could be a pilot. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Beat. Let's get it now.
Ouais, choque-les, ouais, voilà ce qu'ils me disent. Les entends parler et ils maîtrisent. J'arrête que pour rafler la mise. Petit pas sur la piste. Et le succès, je l'ai pisté. Disque la place du premier. Je fais monter la côté. Sur moi, tu mises gros. Tu connais déjà l'équipe. Ça criera au complot. Je prends le double, on est quitté. Je fais la magie des chiffres. La somme, je la triple. La concurrence, la dribble. Et le stade est en délire. Ça fait choquer. J'arrive pour tous les choquer. Toute la foule, elle est choquée. J'espère que t'es accroché. Gauche, droite, esquive rageux. Coach m'a rajouté du temps de jeu. Dans l'action, ouais, je me sens en feu. Je suis on fire. Je fais la différence au compteur. Money time, ça shoot sur le buzzer. Switch, je suis on fire. Choqué, j'arrive pour tous les choquer. Toute la foule, elle est choquée. J'espère que t'es accroché. Choqué, j'arrive pour tous les choquer. Toute la foule, elle est choquée. J'espère que t'es accroché.
Welcome to the XXL Nutrition HQ. XXL Nutrition is the most popular online supplement brand in Europe. Our proteins, pre-workouts, dietary supplements, and of course our sportswear is developed with the greatest possible care. We are known for providing the highest quality products and the best service. Daily, we are working with a motivated team on new developments, promotions, and quality control to serve our customers in the best possible way. XXL Nutrition is an established name in the B2B and B2C market. Therefore, we can also be found in many gyms, supplement stores, and supermarkets. Offering the highest possible quality is the foundation of our brand. Only the best ingredients and materials are used for our products. Everyone at our company has passion for health and fitness. That's why we want to provide our customers, and of course ourselves, with the best products. We prepare all orders in our own warehouse, which has the capacity to process more than 10,000 orders daily. Thank you for supporting XXL Nutrition. We are XXL, the most popular brand in sports nutrition.
And there we go. We're back on the broadcast, and with a lightning fast first round from Bon Voyage, we are immediately into the last game of the group stage, the last game of today as well. It's going to be NXT versus Wild Academy. We are basically playing for NXT's positioning. They have a chance here to potentially leapfrog Besiktas. That doesn't really mean much. Both are secured for playoffs already. However, they could get a different seeding instead, which may be beneficial to NXT. So they do have something to play for. And of course, the more important thing is NXT are the gatekeepers here, because Wild Academy need 1 point. They need 1 point to keep themselves in second spot and make sure they get that bye round into the semifinals. Otherwise, Bon Voyage is going to stay ahead of them, and it's going to be Bon Voyage off of their great performance just now to go and get that bye round instead, which means Wild would have to play a quarterfinal instead. And I'm sure they would like to avoid that. It's in their hands, so they definitely have to show up today one more time.
So it's not just about NXT or Wild Academy at this stage. It's more about this match is gonna decide the entire, fate of the middle order team. Bon Voyage, Saboli, even for a second, Besiktas for a bit. But for now, folks, as you guessed it right, and as we told you already, it's gonna be the side of Wild Academy being one of the superb teams in the entire Voltage League, going off against the side of NXT. Now, NXT not on a very good run since what they have played against the side of Besiktas, ITB, and Bon Voyage, but they've been able to secure their last victory against an old Legion Hornweight on the map of Charlotte that went up to 7-4 in their favor. Now, for the side of NXT, we have seen a couple of good matches where they have actually challenged out a team like Devoli till the end, making the victory look like 8-7, which they actually won on Chalet also. So I feel like on the most of the matches that they have won, two of the matches happened on the map of Chalet. They have won one other couple games at Consulate and Clubhouse. So I feel like Chalet is one of their top performing games, and as I see on the screen right now, it's gonna be one of their one of their best performing maps is going to come on as the playing game, where they are going to be deciding where they're going to be starting off as defenders on the map of Shadow in this matchup against Wild Academy as well.
Well, yep, NXT sure do love their Chalet, and with that, we'll go and take a quick look at the lineups as well, and a bit of an overview at some of the teams if we get the opportunity to. Because, of course, once again, NXT middle of the pack team, they've been kind of up and down.
Yeah.
They've had some promising showings. I think I feel like this is a team that's capable of potentially beating anyone if they have a good day. And if they get the right map veto, like if just everything clicks, this team can absolutely perform. And that goes for basically everyone inside of the groups. We have an incredibly tight group stage
Mhm.
with a lot of teams that I feel like are very competitive and are very capable of winning on any given day. And so with
Yeah.
that, we've got NXT, the all French team, rather recently picked up by this org. So looking at them, once again, you did point out, you did talk about the maps already, so I won't go into any further detail than that, but they do like their Chalet. And we'll also go and take a look at their opponents, though, which is going to be Wild Academy. Another Academy team, some of these players you've seen around in qualifiers, you've seen them around inside of this group stage for the better part of, the last couple of months. So Wild, they know what they're doing. They established themselves as by far the second best team with a big gap to everyone else up until Bon Voyage just now closed that. And Wild have an opportunity to, of course, set themselves apart once again and make sure that they are definitively the second best team in this group stage because nobody's touching ITBA. Let's be real. But Wildcat can come at least somewhat close to that because they have 9 victories, straight regulation victories as well. And in the 4 losses that they've had, 2 of them have even been OT. So they're really salvaging points wherever they can, and they're closing out games very, very cleanly. They're not playing games messy. They're able to salvage every single point that they can get their hands on, and so I definitely feel like Bon Voyage will have a tough watch ahead of them because all Wild need once again to secure their spot is 1 point. So they need 6 rounds, not 7. 6 is going to be the number, the magic number that we're looking for this evening. So if Wild can do that, then they continue keeping themselves in second. And with that, we'll take a quick look at the predictions. How do we think? Well, first we'll go and
Playing
have a
it,
look
yeah.
at the lineups. I'm sorry, uh,
Okay.
wrong order
It's
in my
fine.
head.
Yeah, for the playing lineup coming in from the side of NXT is going to be the side of Eisen, Hinoski, Slits, Shady, and Redenthi. Last time when we saw Redenthi, boy was on a roll. This guy was definitely, if I'm able to recall it right, guy was definitely the top fragger in the last game against the side of Bon Viraj. But for the side of Wild Academy, hey, but apart from just saying the lineup, as you can see on the screen right now, folks, whenever we talk about a team like Bonway, it always comes in by that, hey, this team is that one elephant in the room. It's so hard to tie this team out for defeating this entire team in a straight up matchup, especially on a map like Chalet, where you just saw Wild Academy's strongest map is also Chalet. NXT's strongest and top performing map is also Chalet. So I feel like this is gonna, like you said, if everything clicks right for the side of NXT, this is that one game which can be really, really close, unlike from what we saw from our first game. Because while Academy, they have definitely lost a couple of games in the last period, if I'm able to recall it right. Yes, they did lost against the side of Tivoli, which they lost on a scoreline of 4-7 on the map of Cafe. They have lost against Bon Voyage. So definitely a little bit of that, brownie points, and that NXT can sever that momentum disadvantage in their favor. That if Bonraj are not able to start off this entire map on their side, not able to win some of the early rounds in their own side, NXT can definitely take out this elephant in the room, just tie him up in a cage and try to just also know, because this is about the middle order. Wild Academy is at third, Divoli is at 18 points, Wild Academy is at 29. If Wild Academy is not able to win this one, NXT can, from just one single hand game, can decide fate of more than two teams in this particular stage group.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in the hands of NXT to play spoiler here. And with that, we've got, of course, a bit of a split desk once again. Rowan's going with NXT. I really feel like that's not a surprise, given Rowan's affiliation with the team. For
Yeah.
the rest of us, the two casters here on the desk have decided to go both with Wild, so no split verdict this time around. My Besiktas bias won't have any influence here. Instead, I've decided to go with Wild because it's the safe bet. However, I feel like this is still going to be a close game because just using ITBA as a benchmark, they are competitive. NXT made that ITBA game look very, very close. So if you go off of that Playday, which was Playday 12, I believe, NXT definitely have a chance to take down Wild. Once again, it just depends on the day. I feel like these teams are fairly evenly matched. It just comes down to who has better consistency. And so far, just in terms of raw numbers, inside of this group stage, it's been Wild. So I got to go with that pick.
Now, when we talk about numbers, when we talk about statistics, it is definitely going to be Wild for now, man. I feel like, Wild with their performance, just take numbers and statistics out and everything out. Just look at their entire round difference. Look at the number of round difference for the side of NXT. But hey, I just take the numbers out, dude. My math is really weak. But still, it's the same map where both of the teams have won their maximum number of games. It's the same for NXT. It's the same for Wild Academy. Both of both of the teams have won their most of the games on the map of Shelly. But hey, we'll keep that discussion going on as we proceed on to rounds. But right now, as we take a look at our operator bans coming in, it's going to be Brava to get banned from the side of Wild Academy alongside Kaid in the defense. And NXT have taken a decision to ban up the attacker named as Grim. Now, Grim and Brava both out. There's a lot of that intel. There's a lot of that, tight situation with these, high Vs can used upon, especially when the defense goes to decide on the basement objective. Now, with Melusi going out, feel like a lot of these heavy utilities where both attack and defense sometimes relies upon, especially with the electro claw coming into the play. Things can get pretty interesting when they try to just take these heavy utilities out, try to go for the raw mechanical skills. 1v1 gunfights, we are going to expect a little bit more. But of course, as Scopos is out of the quarantine zone, of the quarantine period for the competitive from the competitive games, we do see NXT who are going to take out the Talos and Scopos. And for the side of Wild Academy, we see the usual lineup that they have been playing it up for quite a bit. Blitz is gonna head away with Dokebi alongside the Sentry.
Oh, and there it is. I saw that Melusi ban, and there was one thing that immediately popped into my head. I'm reminded of a border game where Melusi was very influential in stopping a blitz, specifically, from being competitive inside of the game. There was a blitz being brought out one round, and the Banshees were too much of a hassle to deal with, so the blitz was immediately pocketed, and the strategy was changed. I forget which team it was, but it was certainly in one of the playdays here in Voltage. So NXT banning out Melusi and leaving both Monty and Blitz open does leave us with plenty of opportunity to bring out shield operators. However, Wild don't commit to their blitz play. They see that it is kitchen bomb site, kitchen and dining, and they decide to not go through that. Instead, they switch up their operator lineup and they bring roam clear utility. They've got, once again, the Dokkaebi and the Demos, also a very favored combo by a lot of teams. Really like to bring both of these characters out, both because they've got magnified scopes on some guns that hit very, very hard, the revolver and the Mark 14, I believe it is, respectively. So yeah, they've got plenty of damage output and, of course, plenty of roam hunting potential. We'll look how this pans out. No shields for now, but I definitely feel like that's a thing that could change very quickly.
That's the thing, kind of change. We can, yeah, you correctly pointed out. We did saw, even I'm able to recall that we did saw one of the teams using the Banshee traps, the Banshee mines, very extensively when the opponent was playing that. But I feel like when you have, some of the top performing players playing in as Blitz, we did saw Bulo in the last major playing in as Blitz in one of the grand finals. I'm not able to recall who was in the opponent. We did saw, but I clearly remember Bulo was playing in Blitz, playing in as Blitz for a couple of rounds. And we all know, folks, that the shield meta is just so on right now for the entire game. But for now, we do see the side of Wild Academy using some heavy deathmark utility to track out the side of Mute. We do see the best main entrance being used now from being in the QA for the side of the Moose. We do see the fragments coming in. Jonaxi and Azanki takes out Bumsy and low. At the same time, almost 5v3 is going to be the scenario for now. And the plant is going already out. Where are the defense players? Kings come from back.
Oh, but last second. It's a save. I was so worried there for a second for NXT because I was wondering, Matt's got himself into the side. He brute forced his way in using utility and the mirror windows against his opponents. And he lost 2 of his teammates, but Wild Academy got complete side control, started to get the plant down. I was like, NXT, you've gotten 2 kills and somehow you're still losing control of most of the map. But no, there was a vert angle in place. It does find the planter at just the last moment, and that leaves Garen all alone outside the building without much hope of trying to convert this round as there's some jiggle peaks coming in, and Raiden's gonna just shut him out as well. NXT start off with a flawless round here, and this is already getting the Wild fans nervous.
I mean, that was a quite interesting one. Wild Academy takes the entry, tries to go for the diffuser, tries to go for the diffuser blind out very, very early. Kudos to Mats and everyone. Like we did also even and Bumsy putting the assistance out in the drone work. But NXT getting that entire rebacking, taking the control back of the entire situation in those side, that was really up to the mark. And this is a really, really good start to just drop off the momentum play coming off from the side of Wild Academy. This is how you want to exactly play against, a Wild Academy who's on the first 6 rounds of attacking.
Do you want to know why they lost this round, Bullet? I will tell you. It was because they didn't stick the blitz. Dodo was on the blitz to begin with, and then they decided to change up their strategies. They didn't want to commit to it. The Melusi is banned. You're playing Chalet. You've got all the shield operators available. Where's the blitz? Where's the Monty? We're in this meta currently. And you can see that teams that are able to play around the meta a lot better have a better chance of making it to big events. I'm just thinking of Secret inside of EUL at the moment. They were able to use the blitz and the Monty in whatever situation they were given it. And let's be real, it's Secret. They're not given many opportunities anymore because teams have caught on to that trend. They are so good at playing the current meta. They are so good at taking space with whatever shield operator they get their hands on, even if it has to be a fuse, because the shield can take a lot of space and you can do so much with that at the moment. And so whoever plays around it better is going to win more rounds. And at the moment, Wild just seems to refuse to want to stick it. Like, you have the perfect circumstance to be bringing out the shield operators at the moment. The Melusi is banned. Just play Blitz, play the Monty, abuse whatever you can. All you have to do is win 6 rounds here to secure your spot. So why not?
Let's see if things get pretty interesting from now on, because NXT able to shut and retake the entire control of the map in a defensive spot. But what? Why are you serious, Dodo? Hello? Drone? Hello? And anyways, it's gonna be Kingstage to take out the side of Bumsy. Things happen.
I feel like Wild is still asleep.
There we go. The side of NXT, but oh, not anymore. Garen able to take 2 out. Gonna be 2v through in a really fast-paced action. Quick seconds out, and that's gonna be entire situation being turned upside down in the favor of Wild Academy now in terms of the man advantage. Legion getting out, and that's gonna be Mats. Then he able to take 1, able to take 2, make it a 1v1, but 2. Not able to figure out that E1 is still on the drone, coming off with the window. Very unlucky. The aiming so right with the sheer mechanical skill, raw mechanical skill being so right for the Fenrir. I'm pretty much sure if that would have been a straight up one gunfight coming off the same angle, that would have resulted in NXT winning that round.
Oh boy, I take responsibility for that one. I absolutely cursed NXT out of existence. My goodness. I said Wild looked like they were asleep, and they were. And then suddenly, you've got Garen hopping into the building, actually looking at the floor to check if there was a frost mat. It was cleared already. That or they didn't put one down there. I feel like they might not have decided to put one on that window specifically. But he checked his frost mat. He goes for the first gunfight. He goes for the second gunfight. He wins both of them. Mats finds a kill as well. Suddenly, Wild is in this game. This is... Okay, there we go. This was the moment I've been waiting for. Wild need to start playing the game. This is the point that they got themselves in on. And so we're going to be tied up 1-1. And NXT is going to top floor with a Mira. This is interesting. So no castle in play to try and play cutoffs. They do have the Asami to potentially play some Kiba barriers. So, of course, Asami, not as durable as some of those castle barricades, but a lot more versatile. You can put those Kibas anywhere that you can think of. Any place is a good place for cover. And especially on this map, where you've got plenty of places to put it. This is telling me that Shinny might be trying to hold on to Mezzanine, at least for a little bit. And this mirror window is probably going to be a bit more of defense in depth. I think there might be a mirror window down below. I don't know where they've put these yet for the side of NXT. There's one more coming out now, so they've now both been placed, but I don't know where exactly they are. And I'm seeing a very aggressive lineup from Wild. I see a Ying, I see a Ram. This could be an aggressive setup. They could go fairly quickly here, especially with the Finka.
Let's see. That can be taken out because we do see a heavy reliant on those goo mines coming out from the side of Legion. And I was about to say when the entire round the first round started, they can still ban out the side of Melusi, but they have more than a couple of operatives can be used to stop those heavy Legion heavy workout. And Dodo takes an entry. I have to stop myself. She takes a trade, and that's going to be Garen. Take out the first one, picking the right side. That's going to be the diffuser getting planted. Evan almost completing it out. Now everybody's gonna go mad from the side of NXT. But Dodo Matt's not gonna stop anytime soon. Takes a double. Last defender out on the piano hallway, library hallway, and that's gonna be it. Wild Academy back at their feet. And you were talking about it. You're saying it. Wild Academy is still asleep, and I feel like that was the curse getting broken.
Absolutely. I feel like Wild just turned on their monitors. My God, this was entirely different from the first few rounds. What was that?
Okay.
They read the gaps into NXT's defense beautifully. They spot that there's no castle, there's nothing being brought out to try and deny them. Finka into the window. They've got a presence over on Solar to just keep everyone busy. And then those Yin Candelas coming out, the jumping coming through, the Ram at the same time on the side door. They just execute it onto the bomb side from 4 different directions. It pans out beautifully. They don't get punished anywhere. NXT struggle to try and hold on to that. Communication's probably messy with everything that's going on at the same time. And so Wild, much, much different. They look a whole lot better than they did in round 1. And now off of that, it looks like Evan might be switching on to the Monty. Let's see if he sticks that, because I've been complaining about them not leaning into the shields. So this could be the opportunity for Wild to well and truly prove me wrong on everything I've said about them so far. Except predicting for them. I did call that they were going to win, so in that case, joke's on you.
Well, let's see. But I feel like, even though we do see the side of Wild Academy winning a couple of rounds back and forth, this has been a little bit more closer than what we expected. This has been more a better performance coming off from the side of NXT from what I expected. I expected a complete wipeout coming off from the side of Wild Academy. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting a 4-0, 5-0 in the first couple of rounds, but this is something very different. NXT are able to at least fill out the gaps, fill out the stay liquid in these tight scenarios. It's sometimes around Aninsky, sometimes around Radiant able to get those frags in those tight spots. But again, heavy reliability coming off on those shield operators. We do see Monty coming off the play. They're trying to take the entry on towards the side of library, not coming onto the play, and Dodo is able to take Fender out. Still trying to find the FNAT mine. Now destroys it. And that's going to be the first few kills coming off in a very straight up manner. Very easy. Scopus going to teleport himself back to the bathroom. So Biuzinski trying to assist him down. And Mira has been targeted by Demas.
The Scopas playing behind their own clones a little funny. Because Shinny just teleported like 5 meters. He wanted to get that shield into this position. Of course, it is a piece of deployable cover, essentially, that you can play around. The problem is there's a nade coming in, and that might just get both of them. No, it won't quite find both Shinnies, as only one of them goes down. The other one is down to 32 HP, and Evan's able to find Janoski. And there we go. This is the Monty in play. This is the oppression coming in from the shield operators, and he's taking so much space. All Shinny can do is look at him, turn around, and run away. He's done this twice already, and he might have to do it a third time, as now the Monty is descending the staircase slowly. And while they have over a minute left, they spot out the player inside of the side crossing. Raiden takes even more damage. Somehow he's still alive. He has a chance to try and play for this. No more C4 though. He's already used that one up, which means that Shinny and Raiden will have to rely on their gunfighting capabilities, and Shinny finds the legs of Evan. Evan going too aggressive, gets himself caught out. Raiden finds another one onto Mats. I say they have to rely on their guns, and they're doing so successfully for now. The problem is they're down to low HP. And Bimsy might not know it, but Shinny was right next to him there for a moment. He has dropped down, got himself around, and Raiden now is trying to go for a swing onto Dodo. The question is, does he expect him to already be at the bottom of the staircase? This is now a game of timing, and Shinny finds the right one as he catches Dodo looking the wrong way. The Vulcan comes through, and NXT somehow turned this around. A 2v4 for Shinny and Raiden. They're able to piece it together, and they're able to stave off this really, really big momentum shift coming in from Wild. And instead, they put it back to 2-2. What an important round to win for NXT.
Well, like I said before the entire round of started, NXT are able to stay liquid in these, gaps being left out somewhere around in these tight spaces. And kudos to everybody from the side of NXT playing, are able to coordinate better compared to what they have played in a couple of the last games. Able to play as a unit, able to just think what is going wrong, able to capitalize on all of the minor mistakes coming off from the side of Wild Academy. But as the real thing comes in, we do see the side of NXT going in for the basement objective. Now, again, we do see not a major change, a major shift in the entire updated lineup. Lesion's still going to be there. We do see Fenrir still there. Heavy reliant, heavy dependency also coming off on Mira and Lesion for the last couple of rounds. But we do see this time around Valk being taken out from the side of Shinny. Of course, when you don't have Valk banned in any kind of manner, if you are able to place those black eye cams on the right spot, it can provide you so much info at any given time.
Attackers are heading out to
Immediately, of course, the IQ comes out to counter it. I feel like Wild just diligent with their drone work. They have an idea that Shinny is playing on this Valk, so they're bringing it out to just immediately have that counterbalance to make sure that those black eyes don't take overhand. But you do have to get Mats into the right positions to spot out some of these cams. He can see some of them from outside, but finding them later into the round, especially when the communication can get a little hectic, you might forget about one or two of them. And if you forget about them at the wrong time, NXT can capitalize off of that. They do have 2 C4s in pocket that they're going to look to just put to good use. And speaking of putting it to good use, Raiden uses his gun successfully to take down Bimsy. And Raiden at the moment, he's 7-2. He's absolutely been on fire. You've pointed it out in one of the previous rounds. He seems to really like this particular spot of the map, and he seems to really like this gun as he finds Dodo as well. Now he's starting to get tagged up. It's another double kill inside of Library for him. Shinny finds Mats elsewhere, and this makes it even better for NXT. Aizen takes down Evan with a goo mine, as I think Evan got taken down to very low HP and then finished off what was left of him with that little goo mine. Leaves it only down to Garen. He's once again finding himself in a 1v5. Shoots that C4. Beautiful shot. Also finds the connection onto Shinny. So even the C4 and the swing at the same time won't be able to find enough.
Oh,
and Garen
damn!
finds a second onto Raiden. What a shot! He's now got 3 more players to find. He's got plenty of time to do it. So Garen definitely in a position where this suddenly looks like it becomes doable. But of course, NXT, they can just play the crossfires. They have mirror windows to work with. They have goo mines to put down everywhere. They've got 2 Kibas in pocket. Realistically, Garen should have no chance of entering in here. But if he goes in right now, if he takes a challenge onto this blue player and he finds the connection, he might have a chance. The problem is there's an F-Not. And now that they know where he is, they know where he's coming from, they can just play this crossfire. He does have flashbangs to work with. Potentially can cut off one angle, but no, he's just going to use a flashbang. Going to wait for it. And all 3 players are looking his way. This is
tough. This is going to be a tough one to win, and I don't know if Garen's going to commit to this. Either way, this looks all but unwinnable as long as NXT swing at the right time. He's taken plenty of damage now. Last flashbang to come out, that's all of his info gone. He does flash himself a little bit, and now the commitment comes through. He almost finds the connection onto Janoski, but not quite. Wasn't to be. Valiant effort from Garen, but ultimately just a much more confident round from NXT, and they put themselves back into the lead. First time since round 1 that they find themselves ahead.
But I have to appreciate this out of NXT. Not pointing a very huge biasness onto the side of Wild Academy, but they know for a fact that you cannot win every goddamn gunfight against a roster like Wild Academy. You see them playing it smart. They are bringing in those traps. They are bringing those F-Nut mines. They are bringing in those Legion. They are bringing in those every possibility that they can use to stop the sheer aggressiveness of the entire roster of Wild Academy. They're doing it the smart way, and they're getting the fruit for it. So I feel like praise where it's due. Like you said, NXT are doing this the smart way. They are able to shut down Wild Academy where it's needed the most. So I feel like slowly and steadily they will get a grip on this, and maybe Wild Academy can lose out the entire match. Maybe.
Yeah, the Legion Fenrir combo I feel like is working out very well for NXT. They get a lot of value out of the operators, both in terms of gunfighting capability, because I mean those are two very comfortable guns. High fire rate, fairly low recoil. I feel like no recoil to speak of really. So you're just confident in taking some gunfights. You've got chances to hit headshots, and on top of that, those F-Nots, they really hinder the enemy. Because they stop them from seeing anything, and at the same time the goo mines stop them from running away. So using them in conjunction, using them together really helps out, and it does make that Monty a little less appealing on the side of Wild at the moment. And at the same time, I feel like they are playing such an oppressive like entry denial meta, and that's with the Melusi banned. I'm kind of scared of what NXT could unleash if they don't ban the Melusi themselves, because I feel like if they pick this, how do you even move forward? How do you even get anywhere on the map without being stopped dead in your tracks?
Right now, for the defensive team, you see more than 2 players playing on the second floor. Mezzanine, Warden, Frost, and Azami. Now Frag Range comes in. Redundancy is able to take down Bumsy. Really good kill. Key Barbarians are being placed in the right spot, but this time around is gonna get Azami, who's gonna lose the gunfight. With that nade coming off at the right spot though. And back and forth now. Back and forth. Wild Academy able to shut most of the guys that were playing on the second floor. Now it's all comes down to the combo we were talking about, Legion and Defender, and this is the time to prove themselves as more, but Garen takes the double a little bit too over aggressive now, a little bit too overconfident. I have to must say it was not needed over there, and that's going to Wild Academy shutting down every one of them one by one. Such a good control, such a good way to challenge off every other defender. How do you wanna approach for a gunfight? How you wanna make them fall for that bait? And they took it.
Very interesting how explosively back and forth this game is. It's lovely to see. It's very refreshing to see just Wild and NXT trade very confident rounds where I feel like, wow, this was definitely an NXT round. This is not like we're not having just a match where you're trying to be the team that fumbles just a little bit less in the execute. Instead, it's explosive all the way through from the beginning of the round, from just early round, from opening engagements all the way to any potential executes that might come through. It's very scrappy, but in a good way, because there's always gunfights being forced, there's always opportunities being spotted. So at the moment, the tied scoreline really is respecting both of these teams. And you got to keep in mind, once again, for the standings, NXT basically need 1 point. They can't really catch anyone else other than just staying ahead of the other 2 teams that they are currently tied with, which is Besiktas and Diaboli. So if NXT can get 1 point, they jump as high as they can on this leaderboard. And Wild Academy, if they get themselves 1 point, they manage to secure second place. They guarantee that they get that bye round straight into the semifinals. They don't have to play a quarterfinal game. And so I think both of these teams are going to be very happy with an overtime game. So at the moment, them trading rounds is kind of just what both of them want.
Yep.
look at
sounds in.
this.
Ooh. Was about to say things can get interesting. They're already
no,
did
you're kidding me.
successful at the second one, but finally it's gonna be Noski to shut him down. I was about to recall him that that's an overconfident push right there, but he was able to take the second guy out with that run out. Oh, your boy. Now Wild Academy is turning out their wild side, especially for the side of Dodo. Oof. That's a statement right there. That's a statement right there.
Absolutely. He just goes flying out that window. Shuts down King Stiz. No chance for him to try and partake in this round whatsoever. And for anybody that might be following some of the previous playdays, King Stiz now has the team tag. He's got .nxt. He was a trial coming in previously. Now he's got the tag up coming in as well. So before he was a sub, not part of the main roster necessarily. Now he's been felt a bit more into this, and I feel like for good reason. The score doesn't reflect that right now, but of course he's not on a fragging roll, so he will be forgiven for that. But I feel like NXT, just with him on the team, have meshed fairly well, because once again I'm thinking back to that ITBA game, and they looked so competitive. They looked like they could definitely take it to ITBA if they would just clean up one or two things, just look at one or two more things to try and clean up their act. And with that, we've got NXT now in a man disadvantage. However, it is the two most powerful roam clearers working together. We've got the Demos and the Dokkaebi to try and stack up and just box these players in. You can see Evan is getting scanned. He was getting tracked by the Demos, just playing keep away here next to this mirror window. All of Wild is basically boxed into the bomb site, except for one player that might be out and loose, and that is Garen here at the bottom of blue stairs. He's getting yellow pings. The problem is, does Janoski expect him? Whenever that gunfight comes through, it's going to come down to timing. Who has their crosshair in the better placement? Here comes the first. He's waiting for the second. Janoski expects it, but Garen's still good for it. Just too much to do all at the same time. So very good refrag coming in. Aizen takes a whole lot of damage. This might just look like a wild round. It was, once again, very back and forth. Dodo had a beautiful opener, but NXT kept this competitive all the way through. But now I feel like it might just be a bit too much work to do, as the diffuser is also caught out. No, he does find the feet of Evan. Won't be able to quite find that kill, so he knows where one is. He should have an idea where the second one is. He tries to go for that swing. Evan will find him. Just running out of time here, and Wild put themselves back into the lead as we just continue trading rounds back and forth and just passing the lead between these two teams.
Yeah. Good one. You know, I feel like this back and forth game will still go on. Like it's definitely in the same way how I wanted it. I called it in the pre matchup that, you know, I want to see a good old siege where, you know, 3 round comes in for Wild, 3 round comes in for next, and we see another back and forth game. This is exactly going in the same way. This is how I wanted it to see. And kudos to NXT. Credit where it's due. Praise where it's due. NXT are able to give a tough challenge to a roster like Wild Academy, and this is how we exactly wanted it. You know, Wild Academy just falling off in the start. NXT able to prepare on the first few early rounds. Then Wild Academy comes out to make it a 3-3 before the rounds, before the attack and defense roll swap is done, and now Wild Academy are able to get one more on their own way. But for now, it's still you know, we haven't saw the strong and very, I would say, successful attacking round from the side of NXT yet, because it's just the second round where NXT is gonna go on the attacking side. So, you know, things can get a little bit uncertain because Wild Academy is on the defense, the basement is a little bit on the defensive side. So yeah, NXT have more than, I would say, tough job to do against you know, Wild Academy, against a roster like Wild Academy where they are on the defensive side and NXT on the attacking side.
Right, I'm looking at the utility right now, and I see Stiz is on the
5 C4.
ace.
What? 4. Sorry.
4. Yeah, it's plenty of C4s in the pocket of Wild Cat. They're looking to put them to good use. But in terms of the attackers, I was looking at Stiz. They've got one dedicated hard breacher, the ace, and they've got some can openers in the pockets of Aizen. So my question is, how do they want to deal with the main wall? How much do they want to open up? Do they really care about boiler and whatnot? Because at the moment, it looks like they're trying to go for first floor. Aizen is on the buck, so that tells me that they want to play verticals. But that makes me think that they want to maybe, at the very least, open up the main breach. You want to get that direct access to the bomb site so that you can hold it from up above. And here comes the same play This is exactly what Wild did on their attack. Janoski pulls it off one more time, and here comes the swing. Okay, Janoski's just swinging prone. He will go down, but he won't be finished off just yet, as Evan finds that trade a bit later than he wanted to, but does get the Janoski down to the floor. The problem is he's now getting hunted. Mats tries to help him out, but he will be forced back as well. So both of these Vectors on top floor just fighting for their life. Mats is able to hold off King Stiz. That's the hard breacher down. Shinny is able to find him, though. That leaves only Evan. The question is, do they know that he's still here? Here comes a yellow ping. Evan finds him, and now he's able to drop back down as well. So Azen's dead. Evan drops back down. He has a chance to maybe get himself back onto site, as he can just go down West Main Stairs. And this is a very, very good roam hold for the side of Wild. And now they have a chance to go back to site. And NXT will be left with a minute to just to try and find a way to execute here. And losing both of their hard breach capabilities really isn't going to aid that.
And that's also going to lose out just 2 C4s coming out from the side of Wild Academy. Like 4 C4s, not left out just with 2 rounds. But still, they have the Warden remaining alive. This clan screen can be so much, effective in a situation like this, objective like this. If we do see the side of Warden playing on this normal garage, just making sure that nobody comes up from the back. But right now, there's going to be a vertical angle connection being done from Ivan, and Janoski had no idea about it. And that's going to be slowly and steady. NXT making its way down towards the objective.
15 seconds left.
15 seconds left on the clock. The Vulcan Crest is still on. A little bit of the damage. More damage will be dealt. Back. Bumsy takes one, and Ivan gets Sheeny out coming off from the main stairs. And that's going to be one more defensive round going on in the favor of Wild Academy. And this is what I was talking about. We have seen NXT playing in really good at their defensive round. But now NXT being on the attacking side, they still have to prove on how they can take this beast of a roster.
They're missing just one little thing on the attack. I can't really put my finger on what exactly, but there's just something missing that they had on the defense, where I feel like they had the capability to fight back, to go opportunity spotting, and they don't really have that here so far. I'm just kind of missing that. And Wild continues moving around them in circles, and Wild Acad are doing that opportunity spotting, and they were doing that both on attack and defense. They found whatever opportunities they could and immediately capitalized. So I'm waiting for NXT to spot an opportunity and actually commit and go for it. If they want to have a chance at dragging this into OT, if they want to have a chance at getting themselves important points. Because at the moment, Wild Acad, they're 1 point away from securing themselves into the semifinals, from securing themselves into that top 2 spot, which is exactly what they want. So Wild, they're now separated by 1 round from everything that they could possibly get themselves set up for inside of the playoffs. So just need to make sure they jump Bon Voyage. That 1 round is going to do it. NXT is going to try and stop that by bringing out the Blitz, though. So curious to see how Raiden's going to put that operator to use.
Right now, it's Wild Academy. There's 2 more rounds at their side, which now I would not hold myself. This looks very easy
Not
for the side
again.
of Wild Academy. Not saying it's the same thing, and that's going to be Wild to take NXT out. Might be a 3rd kill, but that's going to be King to take out Dodo now. Back and forth, a little bit of that hard tussle on the kill feed, and that is going to result. There's 2 of the attackers left out from the side of NXT. Not really needed.
Oh,
Before gonna slap. And that is kill confirmed. Just 30 seconds. It's a 1v2 scenario.
all right, Aizen all alone. He's got so much time to work with. He has 2 minutes, and he's got those Deimos scans. The question is, have they spotted? No, you can see it in the overlay on the left side. They have not gotten the identity of the bandit. You should be able to ping the bandit gadget. Yeah, there we go. So that means now he can start tracking the bandit. You do have to get the identity of the operators if you want to hunt for them. So at the moment, he doesn't know that the last operator alive is the mute. At the very least, he doesn't know it off of his gadget. He does find Bimsy, though. That puts it into a 1v1. If he can track Garen, he would know where he is. And he can just try and confirm this round. He's playing from this hatch, and Garen's waiting for this drop to come in. This just comes down to the Deimos scan, to one little fight. Is Aizen going to use his gadget? Because at the moment, that is what separates him from knowing where it is.
Right now, as Bandit is in the same range of the Mute Jammer, so he cannot exactly use the Death Mark. But he can definitely have that, little that slight idea, because he know for a fact that Bumsy was downed upon the West main interest just on what's
Gets
left for
the
the trophy room.
revive.
But no, he gets the revive though. C4
It's
does not
insane.
connect. And he knows it. He knows it. Triple kill. And it's just gonna be a little bit of that hide and seek. He's just gonna wait. And now he's gonna use the Death Mark.
Oh, this has to be so scary. He gets himself
good
onto
one.
the jammer on time, though. So, Garen, he will be able to deny this death mark as well. It will be stopped. Aizen will have to wait. He pushes himself forward,
Oh, he
and
knows.
Garen finds the headshot. He just loves this corner. He just loves sitting on this mute jammer. It saves his life twice, as there was an attempt to come through to track him, but it will be stopped, and it tracks every single time. And that means NXT, once again, not able to connect with this round. It was a good attempt. They lost too many players early because they were just trying this ram thing again on top floor. It's going to work once. It's even going to work twice because it was brought out by both teams. But you like by the third time, I feel like everyone on the defense should be aware that you can just throw a ram gadget. You can throw one of those boogies at that specific barricade, like not just any barricade, that specific barricade on office
Defenders, protect
outside.
your bombs from being
And I feel like you're
bypassed.
just expecting it. It becomes a slaughter for NXT. They're almost able to salvage it off of a beautiful effort from Aizen, but the mute jammer will spoil him the round, and with that, Wild get exactly what they need. This is a semi-final secured for Wild Academy. They will jump Bon Voyage once again. Once again, valiant effort from Bon Voyage. They tried their best, but
Bombs
with this last
located by
playdate,
attackers.
it wasn't in their hands anymore. They dropped too many points, too many games inside of the group, inside of this double round robin earlier. So now, despite their beautiful performance against Besiktas earlier, it's not enough. It'll be Wild Academy to get the bye round together with ITBA. So these two teams will both be in the semifinals, and they will be waiting for their respective opponents. And one of those opponents may or may not end up being NXT, as once again, they're also already qualified. NXT are mostly playing for seeding here. But of course, once again, I feel like this looks fairly competitive. I feel like NXT have a shot at beating Wild, but they're just falling short. And this is exactly what I said against ITBA as well. So NXT, they've got those one or two things that they need to work on, and they could be a team that could win the entirety of Voltage League, in my opinion.
Oh. Niski finds out Bumsy. Bumsy not having that really good of a play when it comes to winning those gunfights, as he's on just 2 tracks for the entire game right now, but he's definitely playing those roles in, and that's going to be a run out coming out from Dota. Once again, he gets Azenki. Wojnowski comes up with the second as E-Man goes out. And now it's early 4v2. Like, these first 38 seconds in, I don't know what is happening inside the heads of the coming off from the side of NXT, but NXT wants to go in wild under the faces of Wild Academy. They just wanna, that's kind of desperate, but not really in the same, I would say, able to find that last final piece of the puzzle that you are able to get those frags right and get the trade games right. Yes, you are able to get few kills in, but not able to get that same configuration for the entire round. That's going to be Garen. Find Rodinski in the same spot. And now it's going to be a 3v3 now. So we do see the side of C4 might get connecting, but no. Oh my nose. Noski comes in. Noski takes a second quad now. Diffuser getting denied. And it's going to be a 1v1. Confirms it, bro. No! Such a close one for both. And in the end, it's going to be NXT. Finally proved them in their attacking round. It was such a close game. I almost thought, not gonna lie, I almost thought when the first that C4 came up to the corner, I almost thought that Womai would just go in and get connected with both of the players getting taken out at the same time, but he just waited out. And now I probably think that Womai should have gone for the first peak over there, as he backed out on the first few seconds. He should have gone for it. He should have gone for it.
Right, another very explosive and very messy round, and I feel like NXT, this, these aggressive plays aren't coming out of desperation. It's more out of well, might as well try it,
Okay.
kind of attitude. I feel like this is not really coming off of any necessary pressure, and I feel like that is part of why it actually works out for them. They're throwing this aggression out because they're like, now is a good time to. Now is a good time to not lock up, to not go passive. Let's make sure that we keep our heads in the game. And they're doing exactly that. They're making sure that they're on top of their game from start to finish inside of the round. So they want to get aggression early so that they don't keep, catch themselves slipping, catch themselves stalling too much. That's a danger that you always have on the attack, is stalling out and losing a round because of time. And NXT are doing their damnedest to make sure that they lose because of a forced error. They don't want to lose to time. They want to make sure that they either win the round or make a mistake that they can learn from. And that's very, very good. I really like to see that. They're using every opportunity they can get in order to play proper Siege and in order to get themselves the best setup as possible going into the playoffs. And for now, it's working. You got to play with confidence. You can tell that from Dodo, who keeps just not being limited by the inside of the building. He cannot be contained. The man has to be outside most of the time.
Yeah.
So
And it's working out for him.
yeah,
First one
it
was a
is.
double.
It is.
The first one was first kill. The second was a double. Last round in, he got that one kill, but I feel like there was a run out coming out from Garen. It was Dodo. Oh, it was Dodo, right? Could be.
I think it was
But
Dodo.
no. Yeah, it was Dodo. Right now, we do see him playing as Scopus combined with Talus and teleport. Either way, but we do see one of the talent shield getting placed up towards the back of the site, and other one is on the same floor.
Has anybody ever just done a run out with Scopus where they like jump out of the building, go for a peek onto someone, get a kill, and then like teleport away? Just like keep the clone outside, just sacrifice the clone
I
somewhere?
haven't seen anyone personally, like no way on the
I feel
field,
like
no
that
one
would be
updated.
really, really fun.
But I feel that definitely would be fun, but I don't feel that there's enough time that you can teleport your way back. I'm pretty sure somebody will just escort you out. It takes more than 1.5 seconds.
Fair enough, not on this map. Not on this map, but I feel like maybe a bank window jump out could work.
Yeah.
Just brainstorming here. I feel like that could be a really fun idea. Well, we'll have to wait and see if that ever crops up anywhere in comp. I mean, we do have the Montreal Major coming up very soon.
Yeah.
And of course, the Voltage playoffs are going to happen. I feel like right after that is going to be some of the games happening in mid-November here. So lots of Siege to look forward to in this month. Very excited for it. And with that, we might have a chance, as those mute jammers are putting in work for a while. They are stopping every piece of utility. The Deimos scans, the Flores gadgets, just none of it is going to work. As 2 nades come out, won't connect onto Bimsy, won't be deep enough to clear the mute jammer either. So he's just going to keep holding this staircase. But the plant is going down. Stiz is planting, and here comes the swing. Raiden's able to find one. The problem is there's 2 in response from Wild. And now Azan's able to find another one. That's very important, but Mats is retaking top floor. Bimsy finds a shotgun kill. Raiden tries to go for the plant once again. A smoke grenade comes out as well that should be able to cover the plant, but no, Bimsy finds it! Through the smoke, what a pre-fire. Leaves Azan all alone. He's got it all to find, and he won't be able to get it as Mats finally connects the flank. He goes all the way around the world, and he connects it for the final kill of Wild. And they will be able to stave off overtime. They get themselves a clean victory. They put NXT down a bit further on the standings, and they make sure that they secure themselves firmly, not just shakily, but firmly in second place inside of this group, which means that they will be going straight to the semifinals. They get that bye round.
Yeah, they get that bye round, but still not at the first place to just end the entire playoff. But yeah, Fire Academy definitely playing it the real deal. But for the side of NXT, really, really good effort coming off till the end. Not gonna lie, I was really not expected that the match will go out this far. I was expecting a 7-2, a 7-1 score line. Not being biased on towards the side of Fire Academy, but the way how they have played for the entire group stages is just one another. A beast of a play coming out from the side of World Cup. But for the side of NXT, yes, in those attacking rounds, they were just not able to find that final piece of the puzzle to just shut the side of Wild Academy out. For most of the defensive round, yes, they were able to do their trick, but in the attacking round, they struggled, and they struggled a lot.
Yeah, just once again, not enough for NXT. I feel like they were at least competitive in some of the rounds, but especially on attack, I feel like there's a few things to look at, a few things to review. This looked a little less promising than the ITBA game, which is kind of surprising, honestly. But it just goes to show how good Wild were on the day and how good Wild are in general. So they cement themselves toward the top. They get into the playoffs, and I'm sure that these teams will meet again sooner than they think. We are done with the groups now. That was the last game. The final game is a forfeit in favor of ITBA. So Honved are the ones eliminated from this group stage alongside Infuria, who dropped out of this league a bit earlier. So those are our two teams eliminated from the group stage. Everybody else moves on to playoffs. It'll be ITB Academy and Wild Academy to go straight into the semifinals, and everybody else will go and get seeded into the quarterfinals from there. So that's it for the group stage. That's it for both you and me today, Bullet. We are done. So if you have anything else you want to say about potentially the standings or not, please take it away.
Of course, I'm not sure if the standings are going to come up on our streams for the viewers as well, but I can definitely tell you, as you know, Infuria forfeited the game, against the side of ITB Academy. It's going to be a default win given away to the side of ITB, and ITB firmly gets that first spot before the entire group stages are over with 36 points in their side. It's Bon Voyage on the second, spot with 29, and both Bon Voyage and Wild Academy being with the same points, but still Wild Academy securing in 9 victories and Bon Voyage securing 7, with the round difference being in the favor of Bon Voyage. But hey, we got the confirmation, folks. We're gonna switch to the entire standings on our screens right now for you to take a closer look on how things are going to get looked. But hey, I just made a mistake. No standings on the screen right now. But let me tell you, they're only at the first spot. Besiktas at the 5th spot with 18 points. NXT qualifies on the 6th spot with 18 points as well. And that was 6 teams who are gonna make their way to playoffs. So that was that, folks. I gave you the updated standings. You can also take a look at the updated standings at our OPA website. Make sure to check the link in the About section of our Twitch channel. Thank you so much for tuning into Voltage League Stage 3. This was a Season 4. We'll see you at the playoffs. This was Bullet. With John, this was Mr. Reappearance. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, make sure to follow Voltage League on Twitch. Make sure to follow us on Twitter for all the latest updates. We'll see you next one. Until then, happy gaming.
Great. Bye-bye.
I must have went blind tonight, cause I swear that you out of sight. Man, I'm so up, I could be a pilot, and I just hope trying to catch a flight. So let me get the digits, I call right now if you with it. I seen 1,000 pretty girls in this room, $1 and I've been looking for you. I've been searching, it's so hard to find a girl who's one of a kind. Cause being alone just isn't cool. I'll take 1,000 trips around the world just so I could find you, girl. Cause darling, I've been looking for you. Yeah, I'm looking for you. For you. I'm looking for you. For you. Let's get it now. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Be a pilot. We could be a pilot. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Beat. Let's get it now.